Hello and happy Friday Eve from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. Well, you know the old saying, celebrity football coaching careers always come to an end in threes. That stuff used to mess you up. We all know celebrity deaths come in threes. Well, only if you count in Waltz time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But that got crazy yesterday and into today. And I thought actually the first story was a headline maker. I thought that was pretty significant. I'm talking about Pete Carroll. Yeah, they've struggled a little bit, missing the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, but that guy is an icon, clearly the best coach in Seattle Seahawks history. And it was really difficult to watch that press conference because for the moment, they've struck a peace there. They're going to extend the relationship. Carroll's going to be an advisor. And he was trying so hard to be gracious. And I think he was largely successful. I think what he said was largely classy. But you can just tell, even at the age of 72, that fire is still burning. And this is not gonna work. But I got bad news for you, Cowboy fans. Since Pete Carroll is no longer the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Dan Quinn's gonna be. Get used to it. So I thought that was a pretty significant story. I really didn't see that coming, and I think people who say they did maybe aren't being quite honest. You would have thought that Carroll would have received at least one more season in the Pacific Northwest. All right, so I'm still kind of trying to process this. I look down at my phone. Nick Saban, the greatest coach in the history of college football, maybe the greatest coach in the history of football, retiring. And it's so easy to say now, and I heard some people saying this last night, well, you're not really surprised, are you? He checked all the boxes. Yes and no. It is true that he had checked all the boxes. It is true that you got to retire sometime, I guess, but still, look at me and be honest. When you looked down and saw that bulletin that said that Nick Saban was retiring, did it not put a lump in your throat? There were some signs. Now, he didn't get to the warm and fuzzy place this year, but there were some differences in his personality, and you could tell that he was stopping a little more to smell the roses. He was very appreciative about things. Nick Saban is actually a very thoughtful man, and it's always concerned me that he's got this gruff crime dog reputation, you know, and you hear the references to Nick Satan and ridiculous juvenile things like that. He's an uncommonly principled man, and what he has accomplished in college football, I think, will never be duplicated. So now who's up in the on-deck circle with the Crimson Tide? Whoever they want. But whoever it is will never be the equal of his predecessor. Again, immense respect, and immense respect for the football program at Alabama. That's not as easy as it looks. Just a very quick aside. A few years ago when Muhammad Ali died on a Saturday night, I was listening to ESPN radio on Sunday morning, and they had this really impressive parade of sports luminaries talking about the life of Muhammad Ali. And many of these presentations were unbelievably eloquent. But the best was by Nick Saban, who did a better job of putting the life of Muhammad Ali in historical and cultural perspective than anyone else. I think he's a really good man. Actually, deep down, I think he's a nice man too. And believe it or not, there have been reports over the last 24 years that Bill Belichick, the hoodie, can also be a nice man on occasion. And we've seen evidence of that, and we've seen the ways he's helped people without making a big deal about it, much like Greg Popovich, the things that he's done for other coaches. This one was not surprising because Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, has been telegraphing this for 2 years, and this marriage certainly just could not be sustained. But here's the deal. It's not over for the hoodie. He is still chasing, he is chasing Don Shula, for example. He wants that record. He's going to have other opportunities. Again, when you look at that, 6 Super Bowl titles, unbelievable, unprecedented. Just a couple of other just real quick things. Wemby with a triple-double in 21 minutes and 2 seconds. Okay. And for comic relief, did you catch the juvenile screaming match last night between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, absolute infants. And the trick that GOP congressman pulled in trying to trap Hunter Biden, I'm not defending Hunter Biden. If he's guilty, throw him in jail. But the idea that, no, we'll depose you, but we won't do this publicly, because if we do it publicly, we can't abuse you and misrepresent you. Chris Christie, not the biggest fan here, but he did say one thing that's true. And failure to confront this could be the end of our republic. If you think Donald Trump is fit for office, that means that you're not. Have a great day, and let's see what other shoes drop today. We are radically rational.